Hello. Today I was going through an editorial in the Hindu. It's called The Cost of Prohibition. So, fundamental premise of the editorial is how there has been a spurt or an increase in the huge tragedies. So, what's meant by this? So, this is something which happens because of consumption of spurious liquor. So, when does this happen? Usually, spurious liquor is a consequence of the liquor going into the black market. So, when does liquor go into the black market? Liquor goes into the black market where in areas where it is banned or overtly regulated, or the supply falls, or it becomes very costly. So, people try to resort to the alternative means. So, it argued on several things which has very little consequence to our usual GS subjects, but I think this predominantly brings us to two debates which can be talking points for our UPSC syllabus. So, one debate is you see, Bihar, Gujarat, etc. are places where there is a ban on liquor, and in particularly in Bihar, this is a ban which is thoroughly supported by the entire rural masses. Nitish Kumar had a bonanza of voting when he banned, especially from rural women, when he banned liquor. So he is a very strong supporter of banning of liquor. So he thought one way to ban liquor, one way to regulate the drinking habits or alcohol consumption habits is by banning. Initially, it had some positive returns, like, for example, the consumption has fallen in the initial days, and it also led to the increase in savings in rural areas. So, when rural savings increase, directly the rural prosperity increases because savings would increase demand would help in improving the cost of living, rural prosperity. It's a positive cycle. So, all that happened, but slowly people started going back to their older habits. Okay. So again, so that began the debate upon how much can law do to get away with some entrenched habits. Same is the issue with similar things with respect to like liquor or drugs. You see, economist sorry economist came up with a very good article long time back about the efficacy of drug ban. So finally what they conclude is that more than the legislative route, at places where the legislation has been liberal but sufficiently regulated, the drug consumption has actually come down rather than in areas where there is a ban. And ironically, where there is a ban, the consumption in liquor has increased very much, surprisingly. So because whenever there is a ban and people are still addicted to it, the goods go into the black market. So before you can also you can link it to our GS2 syllabus, wherein the efficacy of various schemes are to be there, are asked, so this rightly falls under that domain, and also it falls under the domain of ethics, wherein we deal with the public attitudes, because these are all the things which are linked to public attitudes. Unless there is a change in the attitude, the scope of law is very limited. So if you want to address the specific habits like drug consumption, smoking, etc., you should go to the core. So what is the core here? For smoking, drugs, alcohol, speed driving, etc., they are fundamentally due to a dopamine kick which the one who is consuming or who is undertaking these has. So what all you do to reduce the dopamine kick or to neutralize a person towards the dopamine kick, it would help. rather than that everything else you do will only be external. So unless you need an internal change in the attitude, etc. So certain things which can be an internal regulator are, you see, for smoking they brought these pics, right? Okay, smoking tobacco is injurious to health, and some study says that this is having it had very good impact in Brazil, and that it had some impact on Indians as well. They quote, you see, saying that when those pigs, as you know, are very tough to digest, they say that it has helped in reducing the consumption of at least the tobacco which is on to the other end of the spectrum, rather than these gold flag cigarettes, etc., which are reasonably okay compared to the hardcore tobacco. Research says that their consumption has come down. Why? Because the pics create an imagery in your mind that at least sometimes will make you feel that it's harmful to you, that keeps on reminding you. So you should be doing some things which will be having an impact on the behavioral or mindset or attitudes. So unless you target their behaviors, mere banning is not a solution. So that is the moral of the story. One. However, it has also been found that ban has helped in certain areas. Ban in the sense some sort of increase in restriction. One area is the MV Act. You see, in Motor Vehicle Act, you see when this is implemented reasonably well, there is a substantial increase in the number of people using helmets. See the cities like Hyderabad, Delhi, etc. You have people increasingly wearing helmets because of at least the fear of fines. So in those areas it has worked well. And one more classic example where legislation has worked reasonably well is the gay rights. First, with respect to gay rights movements, first the law helped. Upon law, as people when people started acknowledging that they are gays, over a period of time the social fear or those anxieties have come down and they could integrate reasonably well. So first law took the stand, then society adjusted to the law. Of course we have sati, where law came first, then society adjusted to law. Okay. Similarly, people suggest that even for Article 370, though law has taken the first step, the final solution or a more accommodable, sustainable solution comes when the Kashmiris feel, or when the fears of the Kashmiris are assuaged, and they feel comfortable with the majority Indian Union, which the Kashmir struggle. Let me not go very much into those details. So that's all. These are the few things I wanted to discuss. So this is one series where we will not be having elaborate discussions, but 2 to 3 insights, and we'll just summarize the insights. What are the insights we have? Number one, law need not always help, but law can be a first step. And law shows the direction in which the society has to proceed. So in that way, definitely law. Then we discussed about where law helped, where law did not, and how laws have to be tamed to the actual reality or the core concern of each issue. For example, in areas like smoking, etc., it is the dopamine kick. Okay, how can you reduce the dopamine kick? Or fears will reduce the dopamine kick, or any bad imagery can reduce the dopamine kick, which is what that smoking ads do. Okay, so they reduce the dopamine kick. That is one thing. So even for drugs, etc. And we also discussed that for larger issues, it's not just the what I say law, but society should keep on evolving, and for the society to evolve in that direction, you need a proper civil society, NGO participation, and people should be talking more about them. which is when that happens. So these are the various levers that make a law very sound. So we discuss 3 to 4 levers. That's all.